Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, it's me, the one AJ Anthony Jordan, aka Too Sweet Tony.
Yo, what's up? It's me, Dendatech, now the scorekeeper, ex-champ.
It's me. It's me. It's that reigning, defending champ, the ultimate finesse. What's up?
So as it goes down, guys, yesterday the the winner's circle done so good. We said, should we do another one? Well, we said, well, we can't do just one.
One more.
It's either double or nothing. So here we
Nothing.
are. We do double or nothing. Hey, you see what I did there? You see what I did there? Yeah, when I say the winner's circle, guys, I am the season one winner. The man on the other side of me is season
Season
two's
two.
winner. And season three's winners down there. There are five guys in the show, but they weren't invited because they don't know how to hold gold. So that's a different story out there. But who
I
knows?
can't
Maybe
wait to see the comments. I won season 0.
the comments are going to be gold. They're going to be gold. Yeah, that's the one. But hey, come at me when you can win. Anyway, as I said, guys, we are talking W or nothing. AEW Double or nothing. Before we kick into that, let's just touch on a small bit of news because if we are in the world of AEW, Collision's come in, and yes, I see the eye roll because I know how you feel about the guy already. But you can't be a wrestling show and not talk about it. Some wondered would he
It's what
come
it is.
back. Some said Collision is built because he can't come back and get on with the other people who main evented this show. Yeah, that's right. Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk, will be returning to the world of AEW and will be kicking off or will be involved in the first Collision show. Thoughts and I was going to say thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and comments on
We're
the
not
situation.
American. My my thought is, yay! Not for me, for the wrestling fans that like CM Punk and stuff like that, because there's a show coming to the UK. There's a lot of people that have never seen Punk and get to see him live and see how slow he moves. But anyway, um, they get to actually experience something you never thought you would. So for all the fans of CM Punk and everything like that, I'm happy for y'all and for wrestling in general. And hopefully the elite and Punk and his crew can work together and do business and make some real money.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Now, after the reviews of the American fans by Den and Nico, it's very interesting how the crowd reacted when they announced that CM Punk was going to be at Collision. Now, obviously, there were a handful of fans that were cheering, so you know they are like die-hard fans. Probably followed CM Punk in many other divisions other than AEW. And then you had the other section that were like booing as well. Now, it's funny because like that saying that Eric Bischoff said, controversy creates cash, and it looks like that's exactly what they're banking on here, or what they're cashing in on here. Whether he returns as a heel, it would work. If he returns as a face, well, it's questionable, but you know it could still run, given that he may not be wrestling with half of the roster anyways. Whether that's a work, whether that's real life, I think it's good. I think what will make the difference will be, as Den said, when they come to the UK at Wembley Stadium, the UK fans are going to
Yes.
lose their minds. There is going to be such a pop. They're going to be singing his song. It's going to be really good. I mean, he could do something shocking and it'll still be like a very much warm recipient welcome from the UK fans, as we always do. We always outdo the US fans every time. But I think it's good for AEW. It's good for business. It's good for AEW. It's good for the fans. It's good all around. Even if it's for a short period, it's still good.
I'm torn. I've always been a Punk fan. Like from well, I say Punk fan. Actually, I have been. I've seen him in Impact. I've seen him in Ring of Honor. It was always a guy who caught my interest. It obviously boosted quite a bit in WWE. Come again?
He was in
Impact.
Impact.
He was part of Raven's Church.
Oh yeah, he was
Julio
with
De
what's
Niro.
the name?
Like
With
Julio De Niro and Raven.
someone we were speaking about on the yesterday's show. What's her name?
Mickey
You get
James.
it? Mickey James. Yes,
Mickey
he was.
James.
Mickey
Yeah, yeah,
James.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so like he's always been of interest. I've always seen the guy like this is a bit of a throwback for both of you. The Wrestling Channel. Anyone remember that in the UK? We had the Wrestling Channel, and he was a face that you'd see quite a bit on it, and like it developed. So when he, it's one of those names that when he signed to WWE, it's like, yeah, this is cool. That gimmick they gave him, where he was Mr. Anti-Authority and was building numbers up to and sometimes outdoing Cena, was all good. Even hearing him turn up for AEW was awesome. It was good to go back, and I feel like that was the product built for him post his WWE departure. As Dan has said on numerous occasions, he is a bit of a problem child, and that's the part. It's not even so much the problem child, because people are who they are. You know who you signed. This is what you can expect. But take that aside, I just didn't feel the same level of excitement I did as when he first signed with AEW, when he first walked through that curtain, when you first heard Cult of Personality, which is one of my favorite wrestling songs. I know it's a song before that as well, but it's like, it will be cool. Am I happy to see him at All In? Hell yeah. But it just feels like it's lacking that magic that it did when he first returned. And I think that's the problem. He's kind of tainted who he is. There are some fans who won't give a fuck. It's like, Punk's back, that's all it cares for. But I just feel like something's missing. It's not as grand as it was before. Yes, there was an injury, but it's not just the injury that kept him back.
Last time it was 12 years. And people kept still chanting CM Punk. He was a new ECW chant where people just started chanting CM Punk, CM Punk. And then he finally came back. Look, I would not lie. I was excited when I heard, what? CM Punk's coming back to wrestling. And I watched that night when he came out, and I felt the goosebumps were like, oh my God. And then when I found out he was having his first match, was it against Darby Allin? I watched that one. I was like, oh my God, yes, I can't believe CM Punk's back in wrestling. And then the buzz wore off, and he was still doing the promos, doing everything we expected to do. It's just, I stopped caring as much. But remember, I'm the wrestling news guy, the one that reads the dirt sheets pretty much and stuff like that. So I started hearing rumblings of him complaining about this, complaining about it. I was like, ain't these the same complaints in WWE? And I was like, two different companies, two set of people who's working with, and got the exact same complaints about it. I'm like, maybe they're not the problem. But after a while, I started to sour on him really quickly, and then it just grew and grew, and then I just started disliking him. And it wasn't that he was a heel; I just started to dislike the guy, Phil. I don't know him, and I don't know if he's portraying a character, even backstage and stuff like that. But what he was portraying was not the guy I thought. And once again, I'm just putting my expectation on someone else, so it's on me. At the same time, though, Jesus Christ,
that is pretty much really accurate. Like, really, really accurate. But my question on this is, if he's the problem, where's the help? Like, we all talk about mental health and all of that, and we can name a few wrestlers who have had problems and they have received the help that they've needed, and then they've come back rejuvenated. Whether they have willfully got themselves in trouble, whether it was in the business or whatever the situation is, they have got the help that they've needed. They've been given second, third, fourth chances, and they've come around. Now, some people have to learn the hard way. Yes, I get that. But how long has it been since that incident? And now time has gone. Hopefully, they've had their talks and they've solved the differences. But if he needs the help, if he needs to go and speak to a psychologist or somebody, like, then do it. Give him the help. He's contributed so much to the business. I think whether he's right or wrong, regardless, like, at the end of the day, if you admit that you're in the wrong and you need help, go and get the help. If it's just give him the support, really.
So what I will say, I'll let you finish that.
I was going to say, and if it's a thing where, it's they agree to disagree, well then, give him a short contract. Obviously, I reckon this whole introduction of CM Punk is just to boost the show. Give it a couple of months, he probably won't even be with the AEW anymore. I think it's just to boost the show because it's a brand new show, it's a brand new platform. And down the line, there'll be other stars, maybe new signings, maybe people who have stepped up, like Chris Statlander, that will be able to carry the show, either being the champion or being that high of a ranking star to carry the show. Like, obviously, there's more stars than CM Punk, but to start the show, obviously, it's in Chicago. It makes sense. But after that, there'll be other stars to keep that show going. But I reckon that this run is going to be short.
Go something short and sweet. By the way, I start to think this is a work. The entire beef, the entire problem, the arguments, it's a work shoot thing where I think they do have problems, but it's not as bad as everyone think. The fight, only thing we can all agree on was someone got bit. Yeah, and that's the one person who is no longer there. But
Yeah.
I think I 100% think they were going to work together. Look, Sean and they
Brett.
hugged each other in the ring. Brett, they hugged in the ring. Brett came back to WWE. Everyone, anything you think that could never happen in wrestling happened is always forgiveness, especially when it means payday.
Undertaker
Yeah.
didn't like Shawn, and now they're the best of friends. They're like brothers now. You can't separate them.
Yeah, this is where it goes, and it is exactly that. There's a lot in it. I believe that what happened at the time was genuine. The press conference was no joke. However, everything since then, I believe there are bridges built, and it's like, you know what? Let's keep them going. Let's see what happens if CM Punk returns to TV. Let's have people wondering. You've got more shows, you've got more revenue, and this is what it is. It's something to experiment of what can we do, and how can we do it. There's something in it that's there.
Ben might be right about that work situation though. He might have actually kind of hit the nail on the head, and I kind of have to give it to him because I saw MJF's promo after Double or Nothing. Now, obviously, you know he's shooting, but it to work. He's probably said to Tony Khan, "All right, just roll with me on this one. If anything, just act surprised at what I say." You know, he was name dropping names from WWE, but it was a work. And the thing is the kind of shocked look that Tony Khan was giving MJF was like, "Oh my God, why are you saying this? How come you're saying this?" The same kind of look actually he gave CM Punk when they had that, when everything obviously came out, obviously. So then that actually might be right on this. It actually could be a work.
Plus, he was injured and he was going to go away. What better way to leave with a big everyone talking about you? Instead of just going, man, I'm sorry, I got to go away again. I'm injured again. I will go away, practice the buckshot lariat, and come back and do it once. I'm going to do it properly this time. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
No, but it's true though. It means something for your return. It keeps your name relevant. It makes it look. It creates a buzz. And one thing we all agree on. Our biggest time for wrestling was when we weren't aware it was fake. Then you start to realize that you're already in it. The more you develop, come again? Yeah,
don't use the F word on the channel.
Not the F word. It was predetermined. When you find out it was predetermined, and that's the thing. So now, when you have reality intertwined with fiction, you're on it. You know, one of the things that I think, I heard about it through you guys, but it meant nothing to me because, and I know then you're gonna, out of all people, you're gonna be like, you're not gonna understand me. I couldn't give two shits about Eddie Kingston, really couldn't, right? But so when it was this whole, what's he gonna be like with him and Claudia? Like, yeah, Claudia signed for AEW. It didn't mean nothing, but it had people watching because they were like, there's beef between the two. So it's always good to have a bit of reality mixed with your fiction. People wanted to know what happens when Edge and Matt Hardy are both sides to SmackDown now that Matt's back. Like, that shit's real. Like, it helps. It helps. So does it help AEW? Yeah.
And you know what, right? Certain people in the universe have them, or the galaxy, whatever you want to call it, have themselves to blame. You got people going around trying to tarnish professional wrestling like they do. Well, obviously, there's going to come a point where they realize this and think, okay, all right, well, you know, let's change the game. There wasn't always an attitude era. There wasn't always a ruthless aggression era. You know, there wasn't always a goodie and baddie situation. It has changed over the years, and if this is how it has to evolve, then I'm all for it, because if it can even get us questioning and it can get the population questioning, then they must be doing something right.
That's right. Exactly. The letters that inspired these letters.
Yeah.
You're damn right.
Oh no, I'm going for
WCW. Sorry,
WCW being thrown up. I know it was after it already happened. There was NWO and all that, but having Brett doing the WCW in the air, I watched that show live, and I saw him writing it, then him smashing the monitor, then it cutting off, and I'm like, what's happening? It just feels weird. This doesn't feel this, which
Yeah.
obviously took my intrigue. And instead of being a hater of someone, because I went, oh, I love you even more.
Yeah.
I mean,
Alright.
it was a weird time.
It's funny
It was
that
a weird
AJ mentioned Edge and Matt Hardy, because I was taken in by that. Like, oh, hang on, this looks off script. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Matt Hardy's Twitter game was so strong that day. I was just refreshing the page to see what was going on. Everything
Twitter.
around Matt Hardy. Was it? I think it was his Twitter page.
Nah, bro. Twitter wasn't around yet.
That's where he was tweeting when that happened.
wasn't it
I'm talking about the thing with him and Leader.
Yeah.
WWE.com.
Twitter wasn't around yet. Facebook wasn't even there yet. That wasn't a thing yet. Social, it was SMN. It was chat rooms, bro.
It wasn't even chat rooms. I know he had MattHardy.com, and I was checking that a lot. But I swear
PWR reports, bro. PW. Yo, I was deep. I was deep in it right then.
MattHardy.com, I was definitely on.
That thing, they had the website WWE.com, and you could go on there and interact, because that's how they did those polls when they wanted to choose who they think the WWE champion should be and all these other things back then. So maybe it was that. Where
No. Definitely MattHardy.com. It had nothing to do with WWE, but I remember because he had the page and he had removed all pictures of him and Lita. And my website used to be WrestlingExposed.com. Big up to them. Sadly, they're gone. Okay. Ryan Clark, I believe, was the guy. Anyway, long story short, I remember reading the thing, and it was saying he told people, if you want to know why I took the pictures down, ask Lita. And everyone was like, oh my days, what did she do? And it started, and it was like all these different things. And I remember that's when it meant something to know the words Matt fucking Hardy, because he was like, I'm out for blood. And then you saw he got released from WWE, and that's when it went mad. The minute he got released, the crowd went ape.
Do you know what I would love AEW to do right now? I know we were talking about CM Punk and stuff like that. Do y'all remember when WWE had a chat room thing where people could go in there and you enter different rooms and you could just be chatting to other wrestling fans while watching Raw or stuff like that?
I never done that, you know.
Oh, it was so cool. You get to that bond with someone else while watching wrestling on your own.
Yeah,
and they got rid of it because chat rooms died. But imagine AEW loved the old school stuff, then bringing that back when CM Punk walk out. And it just be CM Punk and it just be scrolling fast. It's like having a YouTube page going live, but there's a bunch of different rooms.
That's interesting.
I want that back.
To co-sign you on that then, when AEW Dark and Dark Elevation used to be on YouTube live, there was a chat thing with it. But it was only with the live shows, obviously, because it's live. So you could interact with other wrestling fans. But the problem is that you couldn't get that with the weekly flagship shows or the pay-per-views.
That's where they had the separate chat rooms. But I'm going back to I'm showing my age talking about chat rooms. It's not about that right now. It's about what's his name? Centimeter Punk. Coming in there. You know, well, don't talk about sizes of the guys, man. Jesus.
But what I will say, just before we do close it off, overall, just general consensus and feeling, CM Punk,
I'm happy.
Back in AEW, good for business, bad for business.
Good for business, always good for business.
Yeah, controversial mastermind, good for business.
Do you know what? There's something about him, you know, and I say this respectfully, you know, you always have that one annoying friend, but you can't let him go. That's who he is to me. He's that one guy that you know is going to bring you problems, but you just can't help but have him around.
He's a straight edge Aryan addict. He looks like a drug head, but he's straight edge.
That's the biggest thing about him. It's so shocking. You look like, when they say never judge a book by its cover, you can show me. Okay, this sounds a bit bad. Let's go to a 97 Shawn Michaels and a current or in their prime CM Punk. You go, which one was addicted to drugs? Do you know what I mean?
Not the muscling one.
Like, whether he's a controversial mastermind or, you know, something else, at the end of the day, if he's keeping people talking like this, at some point he's going to be a certified millionaire. Either way,
he's already a millionaire.
I was going to say
WWE made him a millionaire. WWE made him a millionaire, hence why he stopped wrestling. He had the money. And he can
No,
live.
I
I
like
was just making CM references.
I was going to say
That's
the CM, controversial
Yeah.
mastermind, Punk. The
Yeah.
controversial
You're being too
mastermind.
nice,
Punk.
man. You're being too nice.
35 millionaire, exactly. There you go.
Anyway,
move.
that's that. And I just want to touch on one last thing that's out there. I've mentioned it on Silver Screen Dudes. Leon kind of mentioned it there. Guys, it's something that I don't ever take lightly. If you do feel that your mental health is not in the right place, it's okay not to be okay. Please go and check up with your people, reach out to your people, call people, seek the help you need. There is no shame in it. Even if you have to message the ministry and be like, I feel like shit, I will personally reply and say to you, yo, let's talk some wrestling, bro. What's up? If you saw me on Ministry of Wrestling, hit me up. We could talk. Takes a while with me. These guys can tell you it takes a while for me to reply. It don't matter. I will get back to you. It's just the way it is. We could talk wrestling. We could do it. But I always say try and get a little bit of professional help as well. It needs to be done. I can do what I can to reach you, but we need to find ways to channel correctly. If you cut your leg, you go see a doctor. If your head ain't right, you go see a doctor. There ain't no shame in it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I got a weekly appointment.
There we go. Hey, I've been there too. It is what it is. It is what it is. And that's there you go. There is no shame. It's okay not to be okay. You've just heard two men there admit it. Right. Now, yeah, we're moving on from that. Guys, that's a segment in itself. Now we go on to Double or Nothing, the review
My
show.
favorite city.
Yeah. Do you know what? I was talking to a friend just the other day, and we were talking about going somewhere. And he goes, "I'd never do Vegas." I was like, "You can't say that around my friend."
Oh, they're the people I
He
love.
could tell you why there is.
They're the
something to
people I
like
love.
about it.
I used to have money, and I used to kidnap people. And I say kidnap in the way of like, say that we're chatting, and you would say, "Man, the one city I'd never want to go to is Vegas." I go, "Cool. What you up to next weekend?" And we're gone Vegas, and then you come back. We gotta go back. We gotta go back.
That's mad. That's mad. I may have to introduce you
favorite
to it
city.
just for words alone. But okay, no, guys, as this goes, I am AJ, the presenter. I wanted to watch this live. I've still not watched it. I'm going to be a bit obscure to this. Then is the scorekeeper, so he's going to keep us up to date. Leon is going to be the reviewer. That's how the format of this show is going to work, because I can't feed into shite on this. There is only one thing I'm going to say, and I'll keep it till the main event, because I found out what the main event was. I had a beef with WWE for it. I've got it with AEW for it. Just what I do.
And we should keep the show. We're going to keep the show tight. I know there was 10 matches,
Yeah.
but we should be able to keep it tight and sweet, nice.
It was Leon's reviews, then scores, we move on. So, Leon,
Really?
the first one I'm going to ask you for,
All right.
the Hardys and Hook versus Ethan Page and the Guns as part of the buy-in. Overall feeling?
Right now, you got to give it to the Hardys. You know, they know how to put a match on. They know how to tell a story. It was one of those matches that was fun to watch. Yes, it was on the kickoff show. What do they call it again? The
buy-in.
The buy-in. That's it. Yeah, they call it the buy-in. I even like the fact that they called it that. You know, not copying WWE sort of thing. But it was a pretty entertaining match. Obviously, knowing what was on the line and everything, it was pretty much straightforward. The crowd were involved in everything. You know, it wasn't like they lost interest. You could literally hear from the crowd that they were like fully invested, and the right team won. It was a good ending, and yeah, this is pretty much what I can say about it. Really.
Two very good questions I need to ask before Den reveals who the winner was and where the scores, what we voted and what the scores are based on that. First question. Because Ethan Page has lost, does that make him like Virgil to Matt Hardy's $1 Million Man or something? Like, who is he now?
Literally,
what is the owning of a contract about?
Literally like the reverse role. See, there was a time where Ethan Page had hold of Matt Hardy's contract, and he was literally like his busboy. Yeah, you know, he was literally a Virgil, as you say. But then there was just, you know, Matt Hardy was just deliberately doing things like fucking shit up to make him lose matches, or you know, just literally being a pain in the arse. He literally did what Cena did in Nexus or whatever it was. So
I get you. Okay.
No one did what Cena did to Nexus.
So now the roles are completely reversed. So now, to put it in a nutshell, Ethan Page is now Matt Hardy's bitch.
Okay, so that was point number one. Number two, I heard Jeff Hardy done something that some were like, well, put it this way, I saw a Twitter headline, Jeff Hardy kills himself on live TV. What the hell is this something that people are like, I also saw something that said he's not who he used to be. Like, what was this move, or what? I feel like I should watch it, but for the purpose of the pod, I'm willing to get spoiled.
I've got to watch it now.
You know what? I'm gonna have to look back at that now because that might have just gone right over my head at that point.
Okay.
I
Okay.
couldn't tell
You're
you.
just a madman.
He always
Like,
has been. He always has.
this is Jeff Hardy. I mean, like it almost sounds like it was a botch the way that was described, but I may have to review that again just to.
I know what happened. He did a
Just
swanton and just land on people, messed up. Never seen it. Don't know what it's about. Never read about it. But I know it's going to be about that because that's all he ever does is this swanton. And if he lands on it, you're getting his full weight on you, and you just have to take it. Oh,
I'm
I
waiting
know
to
it's
see.
going to
I
do
need
that.
to see it. I do. I'm going to try and find the Twitter as well. I didn't watch it at the time because I didn't want to spoil it, but I will try and find it because it was an interesting headline. Matt Hardy kills himself. Like, what the fuck did he do now? But anyway, we move on. So then we know who. Well, Leon said the right team won, and well, Ethan Page is the servant. But yeah, go on. What was? Who
Right.
picked what, and how did it go?
Right. So from that, the buy-in, Hardy and Hook versus Ethan Page and other people, right? So let's say that. But yeah, do you know who won this for everyone? Because there was a certain man on the team and everyone kept going on. We're like, we got the Hardys, we got the. But there was Hook. And because Hook was on that team, everyone had to go for the same pick, Hardys and Hook, because you never vote against the Hook. The Hook. The Hook. So yeah, everyone, same pick, Hardys and the Hook. A tie all the way through. Five-way
you
tie.
never bet against Hook. You never bet against someone, as Den also said, who's undefeated, and you don't bet against Taz's son. You just don't do it, man.
Do you know how everyone wants to see Dominic versus Ray, and we got that? It sounds stupid. Taz's real name is Peter. I want to see Peter versus Hook. I just need to see it. Just AEW, give me.
Peter flocking flying pan. I said flock.
I-
It's from the Hook.
That's the one. Right, we move on to the. I keep saying All Atlantic, the international title. The Den's man himself, the Mr. Fresh to Squeeze, OC Orange Cassidy, versus 20 other people in the battle royal for the AEW International title, as I said. So, yeah.
Yeah, right. Now, for me, this match was incredibly underwhelming. Even for the advertisement of the match, like, at the very first, it just had Orange Cassidy, and then later on, you just saw a bag of other wrestlers. Legend has it that some wrestlers just found out that they were just participating in this match. It was poorly put together,
Legend.
It was like they ran out of ideas, they ran out of matches, so they just threw this one together. And just because they happened to be in Las Vegas and it was double or nothing, they called it the Blackjack Battle Royal, but there was nothing blackjack about it. It was incredibly underwhelming. I suspected that that was going to be the time for someone to make a comeback. You know, Anybody could have made a comeback there. If it had nothing to do with a brand new show, CM Punk could have came through those curtains and taken that title. Miro could have come through and taken that title. Anybody could have. But it just didn't happen. All this talk about him being injured match after match after match. And don't get me wrong, like Orange Cassidy is an incredible performer, incredible athlete, defending the title week after week, not saying no to anybody, literally pulls it out the bag. He's literally that good. Like he's almost on that level of Sami Zayn, and he has a lot of followers. Like he literally performed, and I have nothing bad to say about the guy. But I think it is time for a new champ, really, truly. Yes, he's carried the title for a long time, but I think it's time for another person to have that opportunity to carry that title. And I thought this was the match that was going to do it. But unfortunately, well, that being said, regardless of how I feel about it, he successfully retained the international championship. Um, but apart from that, it was a very poor match. The booking was poor. The match was poor. There was like so many botches. Yeah, it was just one of those matches you just wanted it over and done with. because you pretty much knew from then who the winner was going to be.
Right. I'm
Well,
only going to give the scores for this.
just one question out of interest. Did they do it like, I know it's bad to say it, like a Royal Rumble where people came out randomly, or was it everyone in the ring at the same time straight away?
Everyone was in the ring at the same time.
Yeah, okay. That is always a bit underwhelming because you know exactly what's going on. It's a bit messy to catch up with and stuff like that. So it would kind of kill it. And I agree with you, Leon. I believe that post.
I expected. You know, sometimes they do this thing where it's a battle royal. Let's just say there's 20 people in it. 18 or 19 people will be in the battle royal, so they always kind of like leave one out. You know, obviously they know it, but we don't know it. So when they come out, it's like, oh my god, it's someone else. Or you know, something happens where they didn't get eliminated. You would have thought even something like that would have happened. No, just it's
Okay,
so
then
underwhelming.
Right.
the results.
As you know, everybody needs to get a payday. That's why there's a battle royal. Get them all in the ring, get everyone paid. That was a pay-per-view plan. You're on pay-per-view, you get some money. But move on from that. We all saw the flyer. We all saw just Orange Cassidy sitting there. I won't be upset. I saw him, fell in love with that character. Hear nothing but good things about how he's doing. So good that AJ, Big Tone, Dan the Tech, Nico, sorry mate, Nico, Double V, all pick Orange Cassidy without thinking. I didn't even know it was about a Royal till late. But there was one man among us that went for that wild card and throw out Miro. Was he in the Battle Royal? Nope. So you couldn't have won. So one person lost and four of us won. So yeah, Orange Cassidy won with style and grace and all that energy. Thumbs up or thumbs meh.
It was a bold call. It could have gone right. It could have gone wrong.
I will explain that. I will explain that pick. Right,
we can move on and we can explain in the after show.
If anything was going to happen, that would have been the time for it to happen. Obviously, it wouldn't have happened. Well, actually, I can't say that because Chris Statlander. But if anything was typically going to happen, that's the type of match where you do the shocker. And if anything, maybe I was dream booking, but it was a chance I was willing to take. Hey.
Yeah, it's that. But I go back to my thing. It's once they say he's beaten everybody, like he did in the Battle Royal and defended it weekly, now someone comes back and now someone wins it. You watch. If he hasn't, he's dropping that title very soon. No offense then. Okay, we move on. Personally, if they were going down, if this was a WWE thing, they would have said this is main event number 1 or have 3 main events. Because I was gassed as hell when I heard these two were going to throw it up. And talking of throwing up, that was the guy who was their referee. I'm talking Chris Jericho versus Adam Cole, baby, and the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal Sabu as the referee in this special unsanctioned match.
The first one.
It's true. Acknowledge that one, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what happened in this match?
Obviously, it was the typical revenge match. Very wild, very all over the place. Sabu got involved. The crowd were buzzing. It was literally everything he wanted to see in a match. Maybe dragged a little bit in certain places, but in the end, it was typically what you wanted to see. The revenge, the receipt, finally handed back. And the way it ended, I think it was very. When you're telling a story, anyone can win with a 1-2-3. Anyone can win with a submission. But the way that Adam Cole won that match was very, very telling. It was literally like I said. It was the revenge match. It was the receipt match because this guy, Bay, just kept going and going and going and going until the referee literally had to stop the match. I think that's the most violent I've ever seen Adam Cole.
Need to watch it.
And he proved that he can go all the way. Funny enough, when I look at Adam Cole, I see a young Shawn Michaels. He knows how to deliver. He can bring the match. You can rely on him to be that main event person. You know he can carry it all the way, and that's exactly what he did. So kudos to Adam Cole for the way they played that match. Even kudos to Britt Baker as well getting involved. Again, it was a story that was brilliantly told. Just receipts were given. The crowd were happy with it, and in the end, Adam Cole got his justification. So yeah, good
So
match.
was this? I mean, we're talking two of the greats here, as far as I'm concerned, of different generations, and as I said, they are all giving me shades of Sean. I talked about AJ and Seth on Night of Champs. I would say shades of sort of Sean with these guys as well. Did we see the artistic skill of the great wrestlers that they are, or was it like an all-out brawl? That's just out of interest. It sounds like it was a good match. Just want to
It
know the
was
style I'm
like
looking for.
it was like obviously being typically the wrestlers that they are, they did give like edges of that, but because the story that they were trying to tell was in terms of like, look, this is going to be a fight, pretty much like what Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar was supposed to be. Um, it was more a fight than a wrestling match. So again, there were shades of it, but it was more violent than the wrestling.
No
If that
problem,
kind
no
of
problem.
that's it.
So then, how did it go?
Well, when you have the innovator of no, he's not. He's just a psycho. Sabu being there, I almost gave someone the wrong credit. But anyway, the pick, we were like, it's Chris Jericho versus Adam Cole. I almost said Adam
Oh,
Page,
yeah.
Adam Cole. So yeah, they're going up against each other. I'm so sorry, y'all. It's boom. So yeah, everyone had to go for Adam Cole because not just he came back from almost not being with us as a wrestler anymore. He came back from injury, but he was also with the most selfless wrestler of them all, the GOAT, the Rushmore mounted Chris Jericho. If he's not on your Rushmore, you need to sort your Rushmore out and remove someone and put him on there. A star in three of the biggest companies ever. Any company you go to, it'll be a star, baby. The original baby. So yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
but Adam Cole came through. All five of us picked Adam Cole because come on, who else going to pick?
It was
Me.
that,
I've got to
and
admit,
there was just a lot of fuckeries that Adam Cole went through in the process of this match to the point where, you know what it was like? It was like Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho with Shawn Michaels' wife all over again. It was that where there
So
had to be a comeuppance, there had to be payback, there had to be a receipt, and that exactly what that match was, which made me pick Adam Cole as well. Um, I wasn't in your defense. Well, I wasn't thinking about what he came back from, although that is a very good shout. Because obviously AEW are thinking this, but then also story wise, it was time for Jericho to get his comeuppance, man. That was the match right there.
I'm going to say one thing to just defend all these wrestlers that's been compared to other people. He is not like Shawn Michaels. He's not as good as, he's not Shawn Michaels. You know what he is? He is
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole.
Yeah, no, listen,
He
as I say,
is
I
Adam
get
Cole. In the
shades of.
future, people are going to say this new wrestler is like Adam Cole. No, they're like them. There is never going to be another Shawn Michaels. There's always going to be a new person, and the new person right now is Adam Cole.
That's why I say
Listen, I
That's
agree.
why
I
I say
agree with that. And I,
they
as I say,
remind
I
me.
call it shades of because I don't want to call them the next Sean. I don't want you to be the next Sean. I want you to be who you are. But you've got
First,
that charisma, you've got that it factor that person had that made them my favorite. I'm not looking for anyone to replace Sean. As far as I'm concerned, no one will replace Sean. But you have that zing, that charisma, that ring whereabouts that I like. I call it that because I can't define them as just technical or all rounder. They have that. It's more than just that category of wrestling. You're that kind of mold. But I agree with you. Adam
I
Cole is
always
the first Adam Cole.
I also say that I like they remind me of said certain wrestler. And the funny thing is if you speak to them wrestlers that we say that we're talking about, and they remind, for example, Adam Cole. You ask him who he watched growing up, and it was probably Shawn Michaels. It was probably. Do you see what I'm saying? So you never know if what they do is in terms of homage to the wrestlers that they watched. I mean, recently Seth Rollins paid homage to HBK with the sliding out the ring and putting his arm around Rhea Ripley, like how Shawn did it with Melina. Again, uh, we could say with Seth Rollins there are shades of HBK, but again, it may be because those were the wrestlers they watched growing up, so it's almost like a, you know.
There was someone else who done it recently before Seth who copied that same thing. I can't remember who it is, and it's bugging me because I know someone else done it. But it's Anyway, we move on. We move on.
FTR.
Exactly. We're talking the AEW Tag Team titles, FTR versus JOB Squad. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, a tag team. I'm still not sure how it came about. I've not watched the product enough to know if I'm dissing them on there. Oh, we both were in Impact. Now we're a tag team. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Leon, how did the match go?
This was interesting. In a way, I can understand why one of us may have picked Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal to win that match, because the build-up and the storytelling again up to this match was very interesting. There was a situation where they got into a scuffle. I think is it Dax? Dax got blinded or something like that, and Mark Briscoe went to console him, and he's grabbed them and he's accidentally power drived him. Then obviously there's rift between them two leading into that match. So I don't know whether Nico thought that maybe Mark was going to turn a heel and side with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. I don't know. But for me, I just think, first of all, FTR only just got those belts. So I don't really think there's going to be like a hot potato situation with the tag team belts anytime soon. What AEW have done, and I like this, is those who have held the tag team titles, actually minus the Guns probably, have held it for quite a long time, a considerable long amount of time. I say maybe not the Guns, but even then, it was still considerably lengthy for that for the time they held the tag titles.
That sounds good enough. We're trying to keep it tight. We're trying to keep it tight today. No. So there's no need for
as strong as the that tag team may be. FTR, well, I think they were just too strong, and you just kind of knew that they were going to retain the titles, and that's exactly what they did. Yes, there was fuckeries in the match, but overall they retained. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, good match or bad match? Thumbs up or thumbs down? That's all we're asking.
It was a good match. And I think what kept the people interested was the special guest referee. So that's what made the match interesting. It kept the people buzzing at some.
You can say who the guest referee was.
I said Mark Briscoe.
You just said the guest referee. You need to.
We mentioned him earlier when he talked about the power driver.
Shut them up, because you got people like me who don't know who people are.
All right. So this was a tag team match. They was beef between Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, because they kind of goaded Mark Briscoe to be their friend, while FTR were trying to do the same. So he was just basically trying to cause a rift between them two. In the end, a tag team title match was made with Mark Briscoe being a special guest referee. And on the Go Home show, there was a little bit of a kerfuffle, and so between them, Dax got blinded, and when Mark Briscoe went to see if he was all right, he grabbed him and his power drived him, and then obviously there was that rift. So now they've gone into the match with all of that now, but then everything kind of worked out to turn out good. Mark Briscoe saw what was what and sided with Dax and FTR, and then he retained the title.
But more importantly, without disrespecting everything you just said, because it helps build up into why it had people splitting where he would go. Mark Briscoe is the actual blood brother of Jay Briscoe, who sadly passed away in a car accident. They were at the time the holding Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. I believe Mark is he still crowned the Ring of Honor Tag? No, they've moved on, haven't they? Or is he still the Ring of Honor? Yeah,
No,
but he was that.
the Lucha Brothers who are now the new.
I believe I saw that recently. But yeah, Mark Briscoe is down as one half of one of Ring of Honor's greatest tags, one of their greatest tag teams, and yeah, it was instrumental and sentimental to have such a tag team specialist be a special guest referee in that tag match, guys. So that's also a little extra spice for the Mark Briscoe shout out there. Now we talked about hot potato title. I don't know too much about it for me to be able to say that it is, but I've heard a few people say that this belt coming up is the hot potato title in
Oh,
AEW.
before we go there,
Oh, sorry, yeah, my bad. How
we've been going with the. We all put the same thing. One person changed. Then we all put the same thing. Then once again, one person changed. Like everyone else went for FTR. I don't know if this person just really dislikes FTR, so he couldn't vote for them no matter what. But it might not be that. He could have seen something in Jeff Jarrett, the young sprightly Jeff Jarrett.
They've got similar hairstyles, so maybe that was
it. But it wasn't that. Oh, maybe just trying to go along. I'm going to make a wild decision and hopefully I can take the lead. But too bad it didn't work out for the Viceroy.
If he saw the Golden, that might have convinced him when Dax power drive Mark Briscoe. That might have been the reason why he may have thought, oh, actually, we might get a shock heel turn. I don't know.
So the picks are FTR from everyone else apart from Nico, who went down on this one. First point lost in this entire pay-per-view. So now, so far in the pay-per-view, only 2 people have lost 8 points. 3 of us are going strong. We might get the full. Let's see what happens. Carry on.
It's more than 5. It's more than 5 points to win. If you don't know what we mean, check out yesterday's show. Anyway, right. So the potential hot potato title of AEW, the TNT title, was defended in a ladder match as Wardlow took on Christian Cage, a ladder match specialist, who also had the giant Luchasaurus in his corner. How'd they go, Leon? What was the vibe?
Very
good match,
brutal, very violent. Obviously, Arn Anderson got involved. It was a bloody match. It literally just had everything a ladder match could have in it. Obviously, there was a couple of botches, but overall, the match was very satisfying. There were moments where you thought that, we were going to have a new champion, but in the end, still, you're the TNT champion, Wardlow.
Okay.
Then, well, we keep going with everyone picked the same. One person make a difference. Everyone picked the same. One person made a difference. So guess where we're at right now? Everyone picked the same. Everyone went for Wardlow because, come on. Come on. Where was Edge to help Christian? That's what I'm waiting for.
Okay, so let me ask one question. Did any of you think? Now I know there's 2 people missing, but I guess we'll get their answers whether in the
comments. I'll ask for them. I'll be them.
But did anyone think that maybe Luchasaurus would have been the reason that Christian could possibly have won that title?
Or I said that. I have no idea why I said that. Okay, so I'm going to be 2 people. First off, so I was watching it and I thought like Luchasaurus could come in there and do something, and we don't know what he could do. And just figure that out. But no, I never thought that. Then I'll be the other guy. Right. Hey, let me just let you know right now that I'm going to get smacked for just acting like this. But really deep down, Luchasaurus ain't done nothing. He's done nothing. He needs to get back with Jungle Boy and do something better with that. So yeah, there's nowhere on earth you could get involved with doing anything. Straight up, straight down. FTR crap.
Cool. Then they hit, man, Then they hit.
Love y'all so much. Sorry, just leave me out there.
Right. Coming back into the room, AJ, who thank God is in here because I would love to have seen what you had done for me. But I could
go all out to the entire team.
You know what? Go for your AJ, then I'll let the actual AJ reply because this is quite fun.
Okay, I'll go for the AJ, right? To be real with it, though, you can't say someone's bad, you can't say someone's good. You got to think about the middle ground because there's always a middle ground. We have to all think about each other. Even when we hate something, we got to think about togetherness because there's people I hate, I really hate them, but at the same time, I gotta show them love. You know, I gotta show them how much I love them by hating them to the point of loving them. Because we always need to stay together when we're apart.
Well played, well played. That wasn't the way I was going, mind you. The real thoughts of AJ said was one of the things that I believe AEW are doing, which is positive. So yes, he who hates AEW showed a positive in AEW. I don't hate it, I just don't watch it or have time to follow it. They're at a point where everybody in AEW is like AEW talent. It's not an ex-WWE holding the belt. And I believe that should have continued. And my prediction is, with all that's happened, Christian will help Luchasaurus win the TNT title. That's what I'm sticking with.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I originally thought that it was Luchasaurus that was going to face Wardlow, and I was very interested in that match. And then it turned out to be Christian. So I was, that pretty much made the decision for me. I did slightly think maybe Lucha will get involved, and then maybe he'll turn on Lucha and beat him because he knows him inside and out. He rolled with him and Jungle Boy, but that didn't seem to be the case. So AJ, you might actually be right.
Thank you very much. Okay, we move on to the first of the women's titles that was up for grabs, and this is the AEW women's title, not the mid-card title, believe it or not. Yeah, we are talking. Well, at the time, I don't know the result. At the time, AEW Women's Champion Jamie Hayter versus the Outcasts' Toni Storm. I'm really hoping that the at the time champion remains the current champion because that's the way I voted. Leon, how did the match go? I know there was rumors of an injury, but I'm hoping it was a work.
So obviously there were rumors of this injury, and obviously from the very start of this match to the end, it was very apparent that she was carrying an injury. Legitimate injury as well, because we all know Jamie Hayter to be one of the top professional wrestlers in the game right now. She is on top of her game, but this was not a wrestling match. This was more a brawl. Enough for her to try and defend the women's world title, the AEW women's world title, as much as she could. But the numbers were too overwhelming. The injury was legit. And obviously, the inevitable happened, where Storm became the new women's champion.
I like Toni Storm. I don't like the angle they went with that. Yeah. I just personally believe Saraya should have been the one to do it. Also, Big Tone made a prediction that I would have liked to see. A homegrown talent walking out with a title at All In would have been something huge. Who knows? Maybe this is no. I was gonna say opening the door, but I actually want the Outcast to stay longer, so I don't want to see Saraya take on Toni Storm. Hey, it is what it is.
The match started with them dragging her out from the entrance. Saraya was holding her belt at the time. Obviously, there was a whole lot of fuckeries before the match even started. It got into the ring. The ref asked Jamie, does she want to continue? And even from then, you could pretty much tell what was going to happen. It was just a matter of time of when. And that's exactly what happened.
Okay, I know what I'm going to be saying during what next. But yes, then.
Scores on this one.
I know you said we all get it right, and some get it wrong. So I know for a fact I'm down as the one who got it wrong.
Give it a thing, as we keep saying, we're all picking the same thing, and we're all making difference. The same thing, difference. So we all got the same thing right the last time. So obviously this time it's going to be different. And when we've been different, it's been one person. This time it's 3 people, only 2 got it right, which is crazy. But we got Nico, Big Tone, and AJ.
Yeah, I wonder why that is
went for Jamie Hayter. I was going to go for Jamie Hayter, but someone messed up and made a comment in the group. Thank you, Mr. Simsy, for saying it right. The Ultimate Vanessa said, I think Jamie Hayter might be injured. And I was like, whoop, I'm picking Toni Storm. So only myself and the one Simsy went through to get this point, and we both picked Toni Storm to win, and we're keeping it going. Now there's only one person left that's on that streak to get everything right. This guy.
I was gonna say,
everyone has lost by 1, apart from Nico, who's lost 2 matches. So,
I ain't saying nothing with
clean sweep point. The clean sweep point. Will we be seeing it today?
Almost there.
That is big. Hey, well played then. Well played. Do you know what? Anyway, yeah. Okay. That's I'm just pissed. But yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. So we move on. This one I would never have changed my mind. I didn't care who they took on. As I said, I quoted Passions of 57 for this match. The House of Black took on the route. It says open challenge, but I had heard that the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass were taking them on. So I don't know if that was it. Was there like rolling competition? How did this match go, Leon?
Yeah, so they came out, and then obviously the Acclaimed came out. Now, if there's one thing I have got to give to the Acclaimed, it was Max Caster's rap when he came out. If you heard the rap, oh my God, he went there. He mentioned and he dissed every single one of them as well. Like he dissed Brody King. Is it Brody King or Brody? Yeah.
Yeah, Brody King. Brody King. Yeah.
Brody King. He dissed him and his face paint. He dissed Malachi Black, saying, "How does he get away with being blackface?" And the crowd just reacted like, "Ooh, like this." Yeah. And then he said, like, what do you call it? And he said to Buddy that he's getting outdone by some guy named Dominic. All in his
You're getting cocked by you're getting cocked by a little kid named Dominic.
Stop it. It's really funny because when the Acclaim first started, there was someone we know who wasn't a fan, and I remember that person posting regularly saying, "This guy's rap sucks. Like I've been in the game and XYZ." When I first heard him, I was like, I can see what you're doing, but it's obvious you're going to get the shades of Cena. You know, like no one else has rapped their way down to the ring. But I've always found it slightly entertaining. Sometimes because I've not watched the product, it's not been much to me. But he's always had a ooh moment, and that's what I like about the Acclaim. So,
he gets so much of an ooh moment that after the CM Punk thing, they didn't let him come out and rap because like we can't stop him from saying something, so we're not gonna let him out there.
Yeah.
Well, like here's the thing: me and Big Tone called it from a long time ago when we said like, yes, it's shades of John Cena. It reminds us of Thugonomics, basic Thugonomics, John Cena. And in the beginning, see, here's the thing: I don't know whether they deliberately ripped corny lines only to get better later on, but we were saying this is going to get better and better and better, and it's going to get to the point where it's literally going to be flawless. I mean, don't be surprised if he comes out with a single. You know, it's very professional wrestling is very coordinated with the world of music to the point where they're coming out with their own albums or singles.
Hey, Cena's got an album. He's got a good album.
Exactly, and so is Elias. You know what I mean? So like, and I'm sure there's a couple of others that have whether it's a single or not. You got Jericho.
No, he's got an album. That's a good album.
I'm just saying people release music. I didn't say anything else.
I'm sorry, Fozzy is not great. Jericho's a great wrestler. Fozzy.
So without going too far into it, the Acclaimed were exactly that, and they got to that point now where people are hanging on what he's going to say when they come out. To the point where even the ring announcer like announces them quick because they know that, you know, Max is about to say like, listen, yo. Anyway, he completely killed it with his rap. And then obviously the challenge was made. But the House of Black were pretty dominant, and as everybody must have expected, they retained the Trios Championship.
Glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Then, how did that go? Are we still sticking with the flow?
Can everyone guess? Can you guess? If it's all of us get it right, then all of us get it wrong. Then all of us get it right. Can you guess? That's right. We all went for House of Black. And everyone had their own reasons. You go watch the videos of the predictions. But, you know, for my personal self, my prediction was because y'all kept talking about House of Black so much to the point of the team in WWE was being referred to as House of Beta. I'm like, this House of Black must be good. So I can't not pick them. So that's why I picked them, my personal self. Only that. Plus, on the card, it's only them. Unless it's a new trios team, they weren't going to lose.
Fair point. Cannot
And
disagree with that.
if we're really speaking as well, they've kind of only just won those trios titles. You've got to keep as we have all said, all of us have said it. You've got to keep champions strong.
Can't disagree with that either. Okay, let's get that back in. Teeth back in. Talking of keeping champions strong, this lady has kept it strong with an undefeated streak and an amazing time with the TBS title. Yes, I am talking the TBS title match. Jade Cargill, the one who's been running the big streak for AEW, versus Taya Valkyrie.
Once
The match
again,
now.
very interesting match from the very get go to the end. Both of these ladies performed tremendously. Uh, there were points in the match where you were thinking, ooh, could it happen? Could it happen? Sort of thing. Um, and obviously with them both, it's like obviously with matches where it's the same match versus the same match, like spear versus spear, or, you know, ankle lock versus. So it was that type of match. Both of them have the same finisher. Um, obviously they call it different. They have different names to their names, obviously for it to be personalized to them. But they both have the same move. So it was a matter of who's going to win with that move, who's going to kick out. And again, that match also told another good story as well. It's a story that has built up over time because they had a match before. So in this match, it made it very interesting because it made you believe maybe this is the time that Tyre's gonna actually do it. Um, and the crowd were very interested; they were invested in it as well. And yeah, I think it was one of the best matches of the pay per view. I would say. Um,
Nice.
Very satisfying, and I was happy with the outcome of that match as well. I know Den's gonna reveal the scores. And obviously there was a very I don't know how I can put this. It was a very strong match, and
Shocking ending.
nonetheless, Jade retained her title. But what happened after was very shocking.
Well, by all means, run it because there isn't a poster per se. So you're more than welcome to run it. I'm
Okay,
aware of what's happened.
so after that incredible match, very incredible. Even points where you thought Taya was going to win, she didn't. Jade retained her title, and then obviously Mark Sterling got on the mic and said, "There's nobody." And Jade herself, she was like, "There's nobody left. I've done it now," sort of thing. And then obviously this music started playing. Out comes Chris Statlander. She comes down to the ring, and just when you think it was just going to be a brouhaha, like, okay, this is the next opponent, the way they announced it in the ring as if to say there was nobody left, this is an open challenge. Well, Chris came out, she slid in the ring, and all of a sudden, the ref slid in the ring and they rung the bell. The match was literally about a minute long, if not that. And Chris Statlander beat the undefeated Jade Cargill, ending her undefeated run at 60. She is now 60-1 because the new EBS champion is Chris Statlander.
From what I've heard, Chris Statlander was always going to be the one to beat her. It's been a while, it's been developing, and Jade needs some time off. So instead of just taking some time off and keeping the belt away from everyone else, she was graceful enough to go, you know what? Take it now and lose and not fight for I want to keep my undefeated streak. I need to keep it. Just hopefully it does something good and carry on from there. But it was a great run when it was. Um, it made her strong enough to the point of when she comes back, it could be you only beat me because I just had a hellacious match. So
Yeah.
instantly back right into it when she comes back. And she's going to come back with a totally different setup from what I've heard. It's not going to be the same Jade.
This is what I'm hearing as well, and that made me think she could have taken the injury angle where she comes into the ring, makes the announcement, leaves the belt in the ring, or throws it back at Cody Khan because she's that bitch to do that, you know. But she gracefully accepted to take the defeat. It shows that she's a team player. She was happy enough for someone to take that shine and to obviously it keeps the prestigiousness of that title as well. And I kind of commend Jade for that, if anything.
So curiosity, and I mean, I'm gonna call two things on this. I'm gonna ask a question, and then I'm gonna make the statement first because it needs to be addressed. Out of all prediction videos, Nico was the only one who said like he's voting for Jade because he believes Statlander is the one to take the title. So yeah, predictions come true. Sadly, bro, there is no point for that. We did toy around with a bold prediction call. I don't know if we have to officially say I'm making this a bold prediction, but that could also go way too far.
It means nothing because it's not in our rule set.
Yeah, this is it. So sadly, it doesn't count because it was never firmed before. So that is an unfortunate loss of points there. Yeah,
no, it's the loss of nothing. There was never a point to lose.
Yeah, this is it. So that's one.
If that was the case, he would have been like, "This is going to be the match, and this is going to happen at the end." And if he had said it like that, even so,
nothing would have happened because it's not in the rule set.
Exactly.
To be reviewed for a later show, but at the moment, I agree with that. What I will answer, based on, I don't know if Dan, you've heard it elsewhere as well, was there some kind of feud between Statlander and Cargill that it was so set in the stone that everyone believes that, or is it just a hunch and it's like she was the most deserving, but she's not deserving enough for the main title? Like what instrument?
Oh, the thing was because from what I read about, it's the interim title crap that was a problem. I think that was it. If it's just the right person that was upset at the fact that had to have an interim title and was complaining to Tony Khan, which if you saw the post, people just keep disrespecting this man now. Like that's the main thing is to finish the match, go for the press conference and disrespect your boss.
Yeah,
everyone's Stone Cold. So it is what it is anyway.
Fair enough. Okay, we move on now. Let's
go with it.
Oh,
Let's just change everything. It changes everything because we've been doing a pattern of when everyone picked the same, then someone make a difference. This time everyone went for Jade because you couldn't not vote for Jade because Jade's been so dominant. So everyone got a point on this one. I'm still keeping my streak going. I might be able to make that. Anyway, let's keep going.
Okay, two things.
Take that streak to 100, but unfortunately that wasn't the case.
Two things. It's very funny. She's always been compared to Goldberg with a streak, and they both lost it in a very weird and quick manner. That's number one. And number two, more importantly, two former women champions both seem to be injured. Best of speedy recovery to you ladies, and thank you for the entertainment. Right, we move on to what?
One more stat for you. Imagine that Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair lost their belts in the same weekend.
Interesting, but Bianca's lost
means nothing. Means nothing. Ignore the skin tone. Means nothing.
No, I'm talking like two very strong, athletic characters.
Yeah, there's also a character with a big back.
Raquel
means nothing.
Right. Okay. So here's the thing. I'm going to call it now.
I'm so sorry.
I'm going to call it now. For all that has been, in fact, let's go with it first. This was the penultimate match, the Four Pillars 4-way, MJF the champ, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Jungle Boy Jack Perry all fighting for the main prize, the AEW title. Yeah, which way did go? Well, how'd it go, Leon? What was the match saying for you?
Again, very entertaining. From the jump, Sammy Guevara comes out. Well, first of all, Jungle Boy came out. Then Sammy Guevara comes out. He comes out with Tay Conti, and obviously out comes the cue cards again. But it wasn't the typical banter that he usually comes out with the cue cards. He came out and announced to the world that him and Tay Conti are expecting a baby. And
congratulations. While we're on that subject, can I say congratulations also goes out to Alexa Bliss, I believe, who I also saw yesterday.
Yes.
Also expecting. So, yeah. Congratulations. So that's Alexa Bliss, Carmella, and Tay Conti. Do you know what? I'm happy that it sounds so disrespectful to say this, but when we were growing up, it wasn't often you saw your pinups having to leave for pregnancy. Yeah, this generation have had to lose Becky, they've had to lose Tay Conti, Carmella, and Alexa.
Because it's new day. It's a new day.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Where the women can do what they want with their body and don't have to be. You have to get implants and have to take the pill and be on the pill, and you're not allowed to date anyone. And if you date anyone, you have to keep it a secret. Now it's be you. You're a wrestler. You're not a women's wrestler. You're not a diva. You're a wrestler.
And you know, I
So-
love all these women have, well, the ones who have had their kids have come back and have still dominated in the ring. So you know what? Keep doing all your thing, ladies. Don't let no one tell you anything different.
They've been able to go away, have their families, and come back to their jobs, which is a good thing. Like, you know, I'm happy that the women have got the support that they deserve, and it's just promising for the future. Hopefully, you know, this will continue.
Okay, so but
Going
how?
back, going back to the match, so Ty Conte obviously announcing that she's having a baby with Sammy Guevara when he made his way down. And then obviously the latter fell down as well. The match was very interesting from the start. MJF even had the temerity to come out at one point, get on the mic, and tell us Sammy Guevara to take the pin because he would need the money for his baby and stuff. So he told him to lay down and take the pin. Obviously he didn't. He tried to roll him up in a schoolboy as he went to do it, but he kicked out. But very entertaining match throughout. There were points where you thought actually this could actually be the shock of the day, being that they are the four pillars of AEW. But overall, MJF was just too small, and in the end, he retained his world championship, the AEW World Championship. He retained. But it was an interesting match. Again, the crowd was very involved. But I also think that maybe it was a bit too predictable that MJF was going to retain. I mean, obviously, everyone knows, his contract's almost coming to an end next year, and is he going to hold the title until then, and so forth. We all know he's going to be a very strong champion, and this was again one of those matches where they always find a way to retain. It was just one of those type of matches, and he did, and he retained, and still your AEW World Champion. But yeah.
So here's the commentary that I want to put out. It's just one of those things. The same way I believe that Seth and AJ in the main event. This one I feel more importantly than, because the storyline that was going on with the bloodline will outdo anything, and that's you can't. There's nothing to bring you down from that hype. Similarly, I'm sure the madness of Anarchy in the Arena you will hit on like shortly will match that. But when you're talking about the very foundations of your company are with these four gentlemen, this is the foundations that. Pillars, they hold everything up. This is absolutely everything that this company represents. This is what we've built. This is who they are. These are the faces of the company. To then give it to the people who have been stars elsewhere for the main event, I feel there's something slightly lacking in that. As much as you've got bigger stars, I would have put the Anarchy a bit further up so people could have cooled right back down and then build it back up and give these guys their flowers, essentially, to be in the main event. Not only is it for the title, but it's to say you are who you are. I do agree and understand that there's probably a lack of build-up in that, but then they should have built these guys more before making a four pillars match. Just a personal call.
I actually believe this has been used as a storyline going forward. Do you remember the Summer of Punk, where CM Punk was champion and never main evented? MJF is champion and he's getting second to someone else. There's always someone above him, even though he's champion. He went for that ring. He became the man. So after a while, when he does have something to complain about, he can start complaining about, I'm your champion, and not being put on the main event, not the main event in the show. I'm holding this belt, which means nothing because I'm not main eventing your show. Because there's going to be a time where MJF is going to have to go against Kenny. If it's happened already, it's happened already, and I haven't seen it. But when it does come up, this could be a part of the story of Kenny, because you own the company or own shares or own whatever it is in the company, you put yourself as the main event. I see this being a part of a story.
That's a flipping good call.
Could definitely have closed the night. It could definitely. This is nothing to do like the bloodline opening or being in the middle would have ruined the rest of the show for everyone else.
Facts.
This could be a different order. It could the main event on this one could have gone middle or could have gone second to last or could have even opened the night. But this one should have been the main event in everyone's eyes. The champion should be the last thing.
Very good call.
I've always imagined this dynamic. Like, imagine the four of them having another match, where they've been built up just as AJ has proposed, but the character roles are just a little bit different. Imagine out of those heels, Jungle Boy's the heel. MJF has turned back favorite, you know, or even Darby Allin for that matter. That would make very interesting as well. I don't say Sammy Guevara because he's kind of supposed to be a heel now, but I don't know. He's kind of more anti-hero-ish because some people like him, some people don't. Whereas Jungle Boy
he's put his tongue away.
He's a favorite. Like, you know, he hasn't been a heel yet, as I recall.
Can't be.
Neither has Darby Allin. So it would be very interesting if they were to have another match and the roles were reversed.
Darby's going to be heel soon. He's going to turn on his daddy. He's going to turn on his thing.
Okay, so who? Oh, I was just about to ask that question. Funny enough, I know I was going to say. Let me see if you.
Hey, save it for what's next. Save it for what's next.
No, it's different for what's next. Okay. But who do you think is more likely to turn heel between Darby Allin and Jungle Boy?
And that's what's coming up later in What's Next. Please check that channel and listen to when we talk about that question Leon just asked.
Of course, it's a What's Next question.
I don't think
if you can predict a heel turn for them, that's what comes next.
Please tune in for that show to find out what we think. Who would say the question? Who do you think is going to turn first between Jungle Boy and Darby Allin?
That might not be what happens.
Let's find out in What's Next.
It could happen next year, so you know it might.
It could happen next week. Let's find out later on a later show. Please don't forget to click onto that channel. We'll find out later. Some ministry later as well.
Thank you. There we go. Okay, and for the actual main event, Anarchy in the Arena.
By the way, everyone's got MJF.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Why wouldn't you have MJF? Oh, exactly. No idea. Why wouldn't you have MJF?
Y'all forgot the score.
That's what happened. That's what's next. Is the next one, which is
the main event, the Anarchy in the Arena, the newly reformed Elite, Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, Adam Page, the Cowboy. That's just such a new thing. Kenny Omega, the Cleaner, versus the Blackpool Combat Club. Yeah, I was going to go through all the names, but I'm killing time for no reason. But yes, I do know their names. John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Utah, and Brian Danielson. Yeah, there we go.
We've got 12 minutes for the rest of the show, so let's make this one time.
There we go. Right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're saying all those names all at the same time. It is one thing to remember still. But anyway, this match, again, we knew exactly what it was going to be, and it's exactly what it was. Violent from the get-go. What John Moxley promised was exactly what it was. It was brutal. The only annoying thing I would say is obviously they had, the Blackpool Combat Club had a live performance of their entrance music, and this music was going on literally for about half the match. Even when it was going the Young Bucks way, the music was still playing. And then it went back to Blackpool Combat Club's way, the music was still playing. Then it went back to the Young Bucks way, the music was still playing. And then it went back to the BCC's way, the music was still playing. And it even got to the point where even the commentary was saying, like, wow, like, you know, this band have got some stamina, like, do you see what I'm saying? But then obviously, all things are done for a reason. Because at one point I was thinking, did they forget? I don't know. Is this deliberate or like, you know, what is this sort of thing? And I would have thought like they would always have something in their ears with the producer or saying to them, all right, wind it down now, bridge it down, whatever. But the band kept playing for a reason because being that this was Anarchy in the Arena, the fight happened all around the arena, and eventually they went up the ramp. And I can't remember the name of the band that played John Moxley's entrance theme, but I give him kudos because he took a super kick from the Young Bucks. And that's when the music stopped. The match carried on. There were points where you thought the Young Bucks were really going to win this because they were really giving the Blackpool Combat Club some, but then just as they were coming to the finish, someone pops out from underneath the ring and grabs Kenny Omega's leg, and it's nobody but Takeshita. Is it Shinosuke Takeshita?
Yeah, something like that.
He comes out from underneath the ring and obviously helped the Blackpool Combat Club. And that's how they beat the Elite, because Don Callis and Takeshita got involved. And it's still not clear whether they are part of the BCC, but they helped the BCC and they beat the Elite.
Right. So as we go along, point shots. I'm just get the points out of the way.
Has he done it? Has he got
right?
The
so let's go with AJ. You went for the Elite, so you didn't. You got 2 wrong for the entire night. Great showing though. Out of 10 matches, only getting 2 wrong. Great.
Can't complain with that.
You got Big Tone and AJ mirroring the same picks. It's like they were together deciding what we're going to pick. Let's pick this together because they got the exact same picks. But they went and they both got Elite again. We're going to move on to Nico, who on this show, the AEW show, the show that he should be smashing because this is the one he really loves. It's too much in his heart. He's picking with his heart, not his head. So but with that, he also went with the Elite, but this time he got 3 wrong. So it's 3 out of 10. You got the one person that went for Blackpool Combat Club right there, the champion. I know that I should say one person, but there's still one more person to pick. There's still one person to pick. The one that's trying to go for the streak got to the last match. And he went for the Elite. That's me, and I flopped. Damn it. So, yeah, I didn't make it. But there was 2 of us that got 9 matches right out of 10. Myself and Mr. Defending Champ, Simsy. If you didn't switch up and decide to go to the wild card of Miro, you could have been taking all of those extra clean sweep points. But it rolls over. It rolls
so there we
over.
go, guys. 3 pay-per-views. No clean sweep point has been won. So there are now 3 extra points. It's not 5.
Extra points.
Yeah.
So there's 3 extra. So you win. You just 4 points. Then you get the clean sweep for that pay-per-view. That's a 1 point. Then you get the 3 points on there. If you win the next pay-per-view and get a clean sweep, that's 8 points.
That is insane.
On one pay-per-view. 8 points. It's just going to be moving on. So, let's see what happened with this, man. It's all about, I know it's all about wrestling. I know we're wrestling fans, but it's a competition between the
I'm going to be quiet now from now on. I'll tell you that much.
I'm waiting for the complaints because this is between the 3 champs that's made this up. We're waiting for the other 2 come up to say.
Winners know how to gamble, baby. We've taken those choices and we've won, and we can show that you can win.
I say let it roll. I hope no one wins it up until the last moment. Let it roll, let it roll, let it roll. It's the lottery. Roll over, man.
What bugs me with this is in the history of 3 seasons, possibly season 1 where I've not paid full attention on it, but I don't believe I have ever had a clean sweep. So it will hurt if it gets to that last pay-per-view, and I know my track record has never had it. I can only pray for it to come my way. It's my first clean sweep. We'll catch some good points.
I've said the words, but you know what? Why I keep saying it when I can show y'all the word? Show y'all. Red means you got it wrong. Green means you got it right. Look at the lines. Look at that long green streak on the Dend Attack all the way to the end. Look at Nico just messing up in the wrong places, but it could still come back. 9, 9, 8, 8, 7. We're scoring high. We're making some good predictions right there, man.
So then tell us. I mean, that is some good scores, but it's the end of the weekend of champions. You've had Night of Champions. You've had Double or Nothing, and then you had the winner's circle, the champion circle, giving us the show. So what is the final scores between show points and pay-per-view points at this current stage of a mad, intense wrestling weekend?
So far, no black background, so we can still see Leon, if you duck your head, we can still see you in there. So show points right now, we have Leon running away with it with 12 points with 3 pay-per-views. You know what that means? That's 4 points each. That's coming first 3 times in a row. You got AJ coming in strong with his 9 points next. You got Big Tone, just behind AJ. You got myself and Nico struggling behind. I started weak. I was on 0, and then we made it good. I made it kind of better. I'm improving. Nico's going the other way. He's coming down. We're on the same points back there. But going on the pay-per-view points, man, Simsy, you're on another level. There's been 24 matches overall for the entire pay-per-views, and you've only got 3 matches wrong. 3 matches wrong. That's amazing.
One match per pay-per-view. That is mad.
We're doing really good on the points. So right now, the pay-per-view points are there if there's a tie on the show points. So if I can come back and just win on the show points, but if there's a tie, it's going to be quite hard to come back from Simsy right there, man. It's going to be quite hard.
Nobody taking this. I run it.
At the moment, AJ, it's on you. You're 3 points behind. Just come on, man.
We can do this. We can do this. Are we coming for you, Leon?
Anyway. I've only got 2 left for you.
Oh, go for Vince McMahon's way. What's up, mate?
Anyway, we're not talking McMahon right now. We're going to keep it AEW because, guys, as you know, the way we like to close a prediction show is we ask, what's next?